Alright, so look at the problem in the handout, and we will be doing that problem. The problem is we have 5 periods of data. This is a simple example. So period, and you have the actual values, and you have forecasted value, okay? So the actual values are 1, 2, and I'm going to draw all the way up to 6. And the actual values are 12, 15, 9, 12, and 13. So, using the naive approach and the forecast, I'm going to insert one more line to indicate that this is a naive approach. Naive approach. A naive approach simply says forecast for next period is same as the actual value of immediate past, which means forecast here is the actual value of previous period. And so forecast for period 6 is simply this value here, 13. That's using the naive approach. Okay, let's just do a simple moving average, and I think the problems calls for 3 period simple moving average. So I'm going to write down forecast 3 period moving average, and here all you do is you take the 3 periods and find out the average of those, and that becomes the forecast. By the way, if you wanted to find out forecast for previous periods, all you do is this, drag it down. So 12 is basically the average of these 3 numbers, right? So this is the forecast. Weighted moving average. Suppose the weights are, and I'm going to put it down here somewhere separately. Actually, let me insert more lines. And the weights given to you were this way. For the most recent period, you have to apply a weight of 0.4, 0, 0.5, and 0.1. Obviously, these weights do add up to 1, as you will see it. So if you want to figure out the weighted moving average, all you do is this, equal to sum product these numbers, and I will anchor them because I don't want these values to change, F4, comma, and I'm going to take the most recent 4 period, and that forecast becomes 11.2. Notice, if I had not anchored it, if I were to stretch it to, let's say I was interested in finding out what would have been the forecast in period 5, I could not simply copy the formula. Notice, these values remain unchanged, and it is now calculating the weighted moving average using these values. Next is the exponential smoothing. Alright, in this example, I have told you that alpha is is 0.3. So, to make a forecast, and I'm going to hide these things for a moment so that you are in focus, hide, and we are doing exponential smoothing. So, you think about this. You need to make a forecast for this one, so you have to have the formula, which is this alpha, and I'm going to anchor it by hitting F4. I'm hitting F4 button, times the actual value of previous period plus 1 minus alpha, and don't forget to do the F4, times the forecasted value of this period. Unfortunately, we don't have the forecasted value here, but we can calculate the formula using the same technique. So do that, you get this value, and obviously this value is wrong. How do you figure out this forecast? Well, it's the same formula. 0.3 times 12 plus 1 minus 0.3 times whatever forecast would have been. So look at the formula here. This is this times this plus 1 minus this number times forecasted value. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this formula all the way up here, and all these numbers are not correct, but as soon as I put the first forecast, notice this one is calculating A1 times alpha plus 1 minus A1 times F1, and you don't have the value of F1, but you know this, if you're not told anything, you will assume this value to be same as 12. And once you do that, all the numbers are now accurate. It calculates all the values correctly, and this is the number you're looking for. This becomes your forecast. Hope it makes sense. The beauty of designing the problem and spreadsheet in this way is, suppose you change your mind that, well, alpha equal to 0.4 is more suitable. So if you plug in 0.4, it recalculates all these values here. If you decide alpha 0.6 is more applicable, plug in 0.6 and recalculates. So design your spreadsheet in such a way that is flexible and you can modify things easily. Okay, and I'm going to unhide these things. And same thing goes here. Remember, we were calculating the weighted moving average. This is the number we were going after. Suppose you decide to change the weight and give them 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and 0.2. And boom, it calculates these values automatically. So you change your weights and it calculates the values. So design it to be flexible.